Hi, everybody. It is Tara Boothby and Megan Mancini, both psychologists at Sojourn Psychology here in Sherwood Park. So we were, again, thinking about Christmas, thinking about everything that's coming up, realizing that we are all going to be locked down in our tiny little bubbles into January. So kids will be off school for a longer Christmas break, and this is going to be hard for our families. The risk of having more conflict, just like losing our patience, the overwhelm, the lack of structure, the boredom, all these things. So let's talk a wellness bucket list. And if you've watched our vlogs, you've probably seen this image before, but the wellness wheel is just based on these 6 categories: social, emotional, intellectual, physical, occupational, and spiritual. And so Megan and I are just going to break it down into each category and talk how we would work through a bucket list. So easy for you guys. If you want to pause, go grab a piece of paper. You can draw a wellness wheel or write a list, whatever works for you. After this vlog, you could go grab your kids, grab your persons, whatever, your pets, and do the list that way, whatever works for you. So first things first, social. So what would we consider, or how would we start to elaborate our social bucket list? What do you think, Megan?
I think that within the confines of restrictions, it's how can we use the blessings of technology to remain connected to the people that we love and the people that we care about, and trying to avoid the isolation of being isolated, which is where we're all at right now. And it's like a beautiful thing to be with family for an extended period of time, but it can also be tough. And so it's, I think, important to expand the social connection safely through use of Zoom or the House Party app or Google Meets or whatever it is that your family knows and feels connected with. So for me, I have little Zoom dates with my parents, and with my nephew FaceTimes me, and we play, he's only 4, so we kind of play silly little games of hide and seek and tag virtually. And once a week I have a House Party's the app it's called, but with my girlfriends, and we sit down in the evening and we chat together. And so I have that connection with my family and with friends outside of my beautiful little bubble that I have at home right now. So what about you, Tara?
Yeah, and I really like that, Megan. And there's so many just like social things that we can strategize out in the community too. So like go light looking, if you're feeling cooped up, you got a little cabin fever, get out, go for a car ride. Like that is definitely something that we shouldn't underrate. And as far as social media goes, I am a huge advocate right now. Share pictures, like let's let people see what's going on in our lives, because that's a way to promote other people's social wellness as well. And then at home, it's like, think of all the things that you could do. Christmas movies together, board games together, bake together, sit down and eat a meal at the table together. Like there's so many things to just, if we slow down, we can pay attention to. Okay, then for an emotional bucket list. So some of the things just with emotions, I think sometimes I really like to keep it super simple. And again, it's watch a movie or listen to some music. Listen to a whole CD or album from the start to finish, or good old nostalgic Christmas music. Emotions, getting slow with ourselves is one of the big things that I think is really important for our emotion bucket list right now. So whatever that might look like for you, a meditation app or something. What about you, Megan?
No, I love all of that. I think you're making me think about, in dialectical behavioral therapy, there's an acronym called ACCEPTS. And it's an acronym for when we're distressed and we're having a tough go. It's literally a list of things that we can do. So the activities that you can do to make you feel good. Contributing. So what can I do for another person that might make them feel good so it fills my bucket list? Comparing myself like to a harder time, or how fortunate I am to be where I am relative to some other people who are struggling. And then eliciting emotions through positive thinking, or by watching a funny movie that's going to fill us up, or watching that favorite YouTuber that you have that's hilarious, and avoiding the things that bring us down. I don't think we need any extra sadness in our lives right now, or any extra chaos right now. And then sensations, if it's taking a hot bath or doing your nails or doing a face mask. I mean, it's like the things that you can have that you can do, sorry, to intentionally uplift yourself to generate those emotions. So I think being intentional about knowing what you need, I love that.
Right. Yeah. Intentionality. Perfect. And then, okay, so intellectual bucket list. I mean, I think just like for me, the simplest thing is reading. One of the vloggers that I like back in January set out a goal for themselves to read 52 books this year.
Whoa.
And I thought, yeah, right. I can't do that. But then I thought, you know what? Maybe I could read one book a month. So that's what I've been trying to do. And I haven't been religious about it, but I've actually done it. You know, I've been successful to read one book a month. Intellectually, that really works for me. I really like writing poetry and editing it. So that's another intellectual.
Yeah. Whatever brings you joy, that's what it's about, right? It's not about other people. So
yeah, and then teaching our kids is another thing. Teaching them to cook, teaching them to, you know, read, write, whatever it might be. I've got little ones, so we're teaching them little things. Like my daughter really wants to understand counting from 11 to 20. She's 4. So she's really wants to work on that with us. And that's just part of our intellectual bucket list where we can try to build that in every day.
That's so joyful. Yeah. And for me, I feel fortunate. I'm doing my doctorate in psychology right now. And it's really fulfilling for me to get to do that, to get to work towards a goal that I've had for myself. And when I'm thinking about blessings intellectually, like how fortunate that I'm doing my dissertation during COVID, because I don't have to, it's like forced isolation. So it's forced work. I don't have to make up excuses to family or friends about why I can come and feel guilty. So I can really hammer into it and really fill my intellectual bucket. So I love that.
Yeah, that's good. and reframing the restriction and finding ways to be motivated. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to pause us just right here, and we'll come back in the next part to go over the final 3 categories of our wellness bucket list.
See you in part 2.